Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am being visited by, I've been telling everyone you're my cousin.
That's fine.
It's easier to explain. So my cousin Brian is visiting, Brian Lowe, and he's got the same vertical situation I do, in that we were hitting our heads off of the roof here. So we were playing around with the idea of like, okay, well, what do we want to do? I don't want to raise the, sink the floor any. I'm really happy with the way I built the floor. It's nice and stable. So we gotta do something about this ceiling. Now, before we had the pieces tacked on top of these beams, because these beams are they're laminated. They're a little ugly. They're not very pretty. So I didn't really want to have them showing. Now, instead, what I've decided to do is to use my 2 inches of insulation, then a 1/4 inch of mahogany plywood board, and then on that guy I can put varnish and stain and everything else and make it slick and smooth and beautiful, and then I'll paint these guys white. So in order to make that work, we have to add some stringers underneath. I made them 2 inches thick, and they give us a nice space and also a little bit more stiffness up here, because as I was walking up here there's a little tiny bit of flex, so this will add a lot of stiffness and help support these beams and make sure they don't wobble around at all. So I've been working hard on that, and Brian's just spent the morning fitting the foam back in here. Now these are pressure fitted, and it'll leave us with a nice, should be about 1/2 inch gap of exposed wood. So that'll get sanded and painted white, and then that'll be the final look. It also allowed us to add 2 more beams in here, build a little box for the stovepipe to go through. Now this is a tiny little wood stove. It's a 3-inch pipe. So what I did is I drilled the hole 4 inches, and we're gonna have a 4-inch pipe and a 3-inch pipe sleeving on one another inside of there with insulation in between. I don't want to insulate the inside because I want to pull the heat off on the inside, but outside I'm going to insulate it all the way till it gets out the top, and that'll keep anything out there from burning. It'll also put some heat shielding on this box in here. So the idea is to finally give this place a permanent home instead of all the temporary ones, which means fireproofing everything properly. But God, what a home. Look at it, right dead center of the boat. So nice and warm. We had this thing cranking last night. This space up here just like changed for me entirely. Having it really warm up here is really nice. We didn't film a lot of the work early on, sorry about that, but we'll film it from now on. But we're just gonna take a quick break and show Brian the island. Alright, we did a quick village stop, picked up some Sikaflex. I wanted to try butyl tape this time, but they don't sell butyl tape in the village, and we'll go finish off those portholes in a minute. But right now, honey, do you want to go for a walk? Come on, let's go for a walk. All right. It's a pivotal part of every West Coast adventure for every Ontario boy to come out here and see what real trees look like. Real big West Coast trees. Alright, look at that. It may not look like much, but all these little studs all the way across really strengthen the place up. Also, you can see there's the depth that we're going for. So we got the board in, and that's about 3/4 of an inch, so we're taking 1/4 of it to lay the board in here, and then we'll still have 1/2 inch of overextension. And if you think 1/2 inch ain't much, well, let me tell you, it's plenty. And it's plenty for headroom right here. So when I'm standing right at the counter and working on a delicious meal, it does the trick. So speaking of doing the trick, we're gonna go and tour a little bit of Gabriola, take Brian to the Surf Pub for some traditional Gabriola fare. Awesome dinner at the Surf Pub. It's important that if you come, you realize when people say surf, there are actually 2 establishments. Behind me is the Surf Restaurant. It's more of a white tablecloth affair. Not my kind of thing. Surf Pub, however, definitely my kind of thing.
A chauffeur.
Madame, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Hey boys, you nice and warm in here, huh? Okay, we're going. Come on. No. That. The other way.
Get out of the road. Go. Yeah.
So we're back here on the boat. This stovepipe situation, a good 5 feet of it right here inside the cabin, totally changes the game. It is so much nicer and warmer up here. We've been watching movies up here. We're actually using the settee finally. It's like toasty and nice up here. This is gonna be a good winter. I can feel it already. We're back from dinner and we don't want to stop eating just yet because we're a bunch of pigs. So the other day I went out and caught my very first fish ever, a lingcod, and I didn't bring my camera, didn't catch it. So we're gonna cook said lingcod right here on this wood fire stove and a little cast iron pan. Awesome. Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a work day, not on the boat, but on my other jobs. But I thought I'd bring you guys along for a little bit of it because I want to show you the progress on the tiny house and also Toby's cool little bug. But we're also saying goodbye to Brian this morning. Brian, you had a good time, right, Brian?
Oh yeah, it was fun.
Damn right you did. Anyway, so he's going back to see the family. I want to head back there soon too, but still got a little bit of sunshine. Not much today, just a little bit. Probably a couple more weeks and we'll be able to get this boat sealed up for the winter. Then I could think about traveling to Ontario. So we've been tacking up this ceiling. Coming in all right. The great big windows. So on the side I've been working as a laborer here, tacking these up. And it's one of about 300 different side jobs you get here on the island. It's another advantage of being here on this island is that run short on funds and there's always work. So some of it's pretty fun, like this tiny house. All right, after the tiny house, the second thing we're doing is planting garlic at a farm here. So we've got 2 1/3 of a row so far. We're not quite done yet.
8,000.
8,000 bulbs to lay, so that'll keep me employed for a while. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are out on the boat again. This is a beautiful day, sunny, so we're gonna spend half the day at least here on the boat doing fiberglass work. I wanna give a huge thank you to those of you hitting me up on Patreon. I don't say it often enough, but because of you guys, I get to spend more days where I have sun here filming and editing and building boat stuff because otherwise I would spend way too much time here on the island working odd jobs. You guys like to, so I get to split my time half and half and make it all work out and make sure that I can still afford fiberglass and plywood. So thank you so much. If you're interested, link is in the description. Anyways, that's enough about Patreon. Let's get back to work. All right, the clouds have rolled in and the bows are now glassed in. So just the top bit, not to the hatch. Like hatch past hasn't been glassed yet, but we're getting close. I think we got just the hatches up here and then the deck on the starboard side aft section to glass in, and then we're done glassing the hulls. We're close. All right, as you can see, those clouds that rolled in, they brought some rain. For the rest of the day, I was out garlic planting again, so I got dirty fingernails, and the rain didn't come for 12 hours, so the glass did kick perfectly, and it looks good, and we're that much closer to having a fully sealed boat. I can track down the little leaks later on, but for now, honey is nice and warm and cozy in here, aren't you, girl? Because we got the wood stove roaring away, we're heating up some coffee, cooking our breakfast on here. I am just so stoked. I think I'm gonna make a sleeve around this and some hooks up here to hang like clothing to dry right here, because in the wintertime keeping stuff dry is a challenge here on the Pacific Northwest. But near this stove it is amazing. I want to do a little forced air, so I think if I make the sleeve, I force some air down it, and then outside of that forced air system I put some hooks and hang up my old jalopies that are all getting wet in the rain. So it's not so bad getting wet if you know you can get dry again. Speaking of dry, we're gonna stay dry, and we're gonna do a little bit of painting and cutting up here so that it actually looks nice before we seal it all up. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we got a little bit of sunshine today, so I'm going to be back out on the boat here in a minute, but I'm just getting off work and we're going to do a little sponsored ad break for this episode. It's Tack Life. Oops, Tack Life. Now they sent me out what looks like a headphone case. It's actually got a really nice fit and finish. I'd expect to pull a couple of beats out of this case, but it's not that. It's actually a battery pack. Alright, opening this case up, you'll see that this is the T8. Well, you see I've actually had it for a little while. You can tell because it's dirty. This is the battery pack itself. It's a T8. Now, looking at it from the size and dimensions of it, it's like an oversized cell phone charger, and it is that. You've got a regular 2 amp USB connection and a 9 volt speed charging outlet as well. You've also got a regular 12 volt 10 amp outlet, a power switch which turns it on, and a button which turns on flashing lights and this flashlight. There you go, nice and bright. But what this thing is above all other things is actually a booster pack. Yeah, you can start a car with this. So luckily for us, the only person more disorganized in the world than me is Toby and her dysfunctioning
fleet of vehicles.
Of vehicles. One of which
at the vehicles.
Has a fried alternator. But isn't she pretty?
Okay, I did this 6 times yesterday.
Okay.
And it was only at 32%, so it was amazing. You don't even have to put anything on. Even a dummy like me who can't handle very much electronics. I'm a horse person, not an electronics person. So even I could figure out how to hook it up. And
one thing we had trouble figuring out is actually that a 1967 Volkswagen Bug has a battery underneath the passenger side rear seat.
That's right.
So
that took a little bit of figuring the first time.
Show people, I just want to show them.
Right.
Basically, you open this guy up,
yeah.
And as you can tell, if you're used to electronics on my boat, that is an XT90 connector, which you have the male side of here. So this connects directly to that.
And the only thing required that I can do is applying force.
Okay, great.
Push it in correctly. So then it lights up and it tells you what the charge is.
We're at 100% right now. It'll tell you when you clip these on, which is Toby proof, the light will light up and tell you if you've got it connected correctly or backwards,
I know,
which
that was
is nice.
really useful. I did it right the first time.
Oh, good.
I'm
Okay.
like super jazzed.
So plug it in.
Jazzed about that. All right, we're going red first. Lights up.
Lights up there. So if the voltage is really low, you just have to press this little boost button once. And within the next 30 seconds, Toby, timer's going. You got to turn that key.
Easy, man. This time it has gas in it. That was the problem yesterday. Come on, Betty. Now you can't start it more than 3 times in a row, apparently. Whoa! It was dead yesterday. I couldn't even get a whisper. That's amazing. Now it might die again. It stalls out every single time. Oh yeah, it went down to 99%. Sweet.
All right, I'll be real with you. That's not the first time we've had to do that on that bug. That thing needs an alternator really bad. Or you could just carry around one of these and fix all your problems. I'm gonna be doing some modifications with this thing later. I wanna see if it can run my trolling motor, because if it can, this would be the world's smallest battery pack, gas can, electric, whatever, for a dinghy. Would be amazing. So that test is coming up down the road. So far, all I can say is that you need one of these, I need one of these, and I'm really glad they sent it out, because I'm definitely not giving this to Toby or anyone else. I'm keeping this thing. It's amazing.
I got a battery.
I was thinking of swapping out.
All right, I'm not guaranteeing I'm actually gonna get to that modification in this episode, because look at this sunshine. We've got some fiberglass work to do, and yeah, let's get back out to the boat. By the way, Tack Life, thank you so much for sending this out. Link is in the description, guys. Please check them out. It's well worth the money. I really love this little battery pack. It's such a problem solver for me. Alright, so we're down to the last couple patches. Hi honey, how's it going? You excited? You want to go for a motorcycle ride? That last bit didn't go up so smoothly as you saw in the time lapse. But, you know, I gotta remind myself, be relaxed, be chill. This would all go a lot easier if I was on land. I'd also have run out of money a long time ago, and I would be back to a 9-to-5. And as it is, this is the best I can do for now. I am gonna pay for some shore time next spring. I'll do the same thing again, and that's when I will finally paint the boat. But fear not, we are gonna have a white boat this winter. I'm dreaming of a white boat Christmas. We're gonna prime this thing very shortly. So we're getting the fairing all done. We got the glass almost all done, and I think I need probably like 5 yards more, and I'm done glassing for the winter. So that is huge, because the weather is changing soon and we're gonna get back to work. Honey and I are gonna go for a therapeutic motorcycle ride. Is that right, honey? Therapeutic motorcycle ride. All right, and then we'll catch up with you guys again tomorrow. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have a working tide today, which is probably going to be one of the last ones of this season. And we got sun, which is also kind of rare, so today we're going to get right back down to work. Before we do, though, I want to talk about a package I received. It really blew me away. I got a message on Instagram, where I get a lot of messages from, about this porthole that belonged to somebody else that didn't get installed in any boat, and now it's here. And if you could tell by the weight of it, it is gigantic. This is a 2 foot across bronze, fully bronze porthole. I mean, look at the thickness of these pieces. This is insanely generous. So Bailey sent me a lovely note and sent this out to me. I want to say a huge thank you. I really cannot believe the generosity of some of you, either through wish lists or just random gifts like this. Now I have to find space for it, and I've been asking all kinds of folks. I'll ask you guys as well. We've got a couple options. Let me show you. When I first got the message, I thought, oh, for sure I'm gonna put it right here in my companionway, right there. And after picking it up, it's just way too heavy, way too big. So I can either put it right here to balance out the companionway, so we'll have a hole on either side of this bulkhead, or on that side to balance out the doorway that's on this side. So either we'll have a view out the starboard side or a view out the stern. But those are kind of the two I'm looking at right now. Oh, I'm gonna stop carrying this thing around because it's so heavy. So anyway, thank you so much, Bailey. Thank you so much to all of you who've been hitting up the wish list and helping out on Patreon and making all of this possible. Let's get right back down to work and let's do some fairing this morning. Alright, well, we got the fairing done. I'm really glad I'm not glassing today because the wind has really picked up, and yeah, we got the chance to use up all of our glass. We've now used up all the fairing additive, and all I've got left is just plain old epoxy and sandpaper, and not much sandpaper either, so I gotta make a trip into the village, into town, and collect some more supplies. Oh, wow, it's been a doozy. It's been a doozy, but it's been very, very productive. All right, well, I just want to give a huge thank you to Tack Life for sponsoring today's episode. Do check out, link in the description. It's called the T8, and it's really kick-ass. I mean, we've used it to do electronic diagnosing work as a 12-volt battery source. We also used it to boost a car. That Volkswagen Bug is going to get a new alternator, but it's still in the mail, so basically that thing is just running that bug. Pretty awesome. So big thank you to Tack Life for sending that out. Big thank you to you guys for watching the videos. Links in the description as always, and we'll see you next episode. Good night.